Hi guys, Tracy here with a quick tip video for you guys. I'm just finishing up this Project Life spread, which is my spread from, this one is from July 11th to 17th. If you want to see the process for this whole thing, just check out this link right here. I'm going to talk about this card specifically right now. So I'm going to remove the rest of this and just focus on this card. So this card I made from a Becky Higgins card, this card actually, and what I did was I wanted to be able to frame my photo with this card, but I wanted this to be right here instead of having all this space down here. Basically, I wanted to be able to work with that space in a different way and not have to put my journaling right on the same card. I wanted to be able to just use this as a mat. So I'm going to show you a process. It's really quick and easy, but I thought I would share it with you guys in case you hadn't thought of this way to use a Project Life card or any 3x4 or any sized card of any shape that's the wrong shape. As long as it's bigger than what you want it to be, this technique will work. Today I'm working with a 2x2 photo of my daughter and her friend, and 2x2 is the size that I usually work with for Project Life. So I often have this kind of a scenario where I just want to be able to frame, and in this case I want to keep the blue line, the green line all the way around this this inside part. So in order to make this work, what you need to do is you need to make two cuts in your card because this card is both too long and too wide. So I'm going to make two cuts in this card, and I want the cuts to fall somewhere in the middle of this photo, and I actually prefer them to not be center because I find that they stand out a little bit more if they're centered. If I put it down here or up here, it's a little bit easier for me to cover it, or even if I don't cover it, like in this one for example, I didn't cover the cut marks, but they just kind of blend in more easily than if they're in the center. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it around here. So now I have these two pieces, and I've zoomed you in a lot so that you can see exactly what I'm doing here. And I just want to be able to stick this photo in place just temporarily. So I've just taken my ATG and I stuck it against my shirt a couple of times to turn it into repositionable adhesive because I don't have any repositionable adhesive. I'm going to line this photo up so that it's positioned where I want it to be in terms of relative to this line, this really fine green line that I want to have showing. And then I'm going to put a piece of ATG across the back of this that I want to be permanent this time. And I'm just going to line this piece up. I'm going to line it up this way and this way so that this pattern is lined up with this pattern, and also so that it is right where I want it to be along the bottom as well, so that the photo is where I want it to be. So I'm going to find that sweet spot where all those things are lined up, and it is not quite there, but right there. Oops, no, that's not lined up. And I really want it more, in this case, the most important thing is that the card is lined up with the rest of the card. That's more important than the photo because I will be repositioning this photo. So there's the spot. Now I can pull that photo off. And now I have this little piece like this, which is still just a smidgen too wide for this photo. So I am going to have to make another cut. Again, I'm going to try to make this cut off center. There we go. So I just cut this piece in half widthwise, and I'm going to do the same process of sticking my photo onto the square right where I want it to be, and then I'm going to run a piece of ATG along there, and then I'm going to line this up to exactly where I want it to be, widthwise and lengthwise, and that is it right there. And now I have this perfectly sized frame for my photo. If you look super close, you can see the lines where it is cut, but it's very, very subtle and you have to be looking really close. This will be inside of a pocket and decorated, and I tend to outline around everything, and that tends to make it look even more like it's all one piece and less like it's pieced together. So that's how it works on a card that is both too wide and too long. Sometimes you'll have a card that is only too long or only too wide, like this one, for example. So this one is just the perfect width for a 2x2 photo. I'll zoom you in so you can see that, but it is too long. So in this case, I only have to make one cut. I'll zoom you out so you can see the cut. I'm going to make this cut right around here. Then I'm going to position run a piece of adhesive, and I'm going to position it so that it lines up. Again, all three of those directions I want to line up. I'm just going to stick my photo onto the smaller piece. And I'm going to line it up. This one has a more obvious pattern. If I get it really off of the pattern, I'm going to really see see how that is. I'm going to really notice that. So I want to make that as unnoticeable as possible. So I want to try to position this in such a way that the pattern is mostly going to line up. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but there we go. So that's how it looks with one cut. You can hardly tell that that didn't just come as a perfect frame for that photo. You can also do it with these bubble cards. The way you do it with that is you just, again, cut the card. And I like to cut the card right on the peak of one of the bubbles. It makes it a lot easier for lining up. And then I'm going to position my photo so that it's in the center of the bubbles. And then run a line of tape along my card and attach it like this, and I just want to line it up so that this pattern is uninterrupted. And there we go. And see how I can see some of the cards sticking out there? I don't like that, so I'm going to pick this up and try again. There, that's better. Much better. And there's that. And again, you can notice that if you're really looking for it. If it's casting too much of a shadow, you could put a bit of liquid adhesive in there and it will keep it nice and tight, and then it will be less noticeable. So I could run my little glue pen in there, and then when it's completely stuck, it won't stick up and cause any shadows. Make it a lot less noticeable. And then, I mean, the other thing I could do is when I'm decorating it, I could put a little label or something there. I wouldn't choose the exact same color like that, but maybe I might put this little smile sticker or something so that it's covering it if I was really being particular about it. But once it's in the pocket, you're really not going to notice it. It's going to be amongst a whole bunch of other cards, and so that's not going to be a huge issue. I thought I would show what I would do with this card if I were making it into a frame. So for this one, I'm going to take my self-healing mat and I'm going to just cut along the edges of the little banner that hangs down into the card. And then I'm going to take my trimmer and I'm going to cut right along that line that I just showed you, right where the banner meets the card. And I didn't quite trim it quite right, so I'm just trimming it off with my with my scissors to make it perfect. And now I could make this photo so that there's a bit of white showing all the way around, and that would really accentuate those cute little reversed rounded corners on that frame. But I thought I'd try something a little bit different, which is to make the photos go so that it's right to the corners of the card, and then cut little slits so that those little reverse rounded corners could serve as little photo corners, I guess. So you see me just lining up to fix the length of it as well, the same way that I did with the width. And then I'm just going to cut little slits and slip my photo into the little holes. So this would have looked fine with leaving more of a white border the way I did with the other ones, but I thought I would just show this as another option. And it looks really great, except that that banner is a little bit too far over close to Katie's face. So I was looking at that and decided to fix it. So all that I did was I trimmed off the little banner part and repositioned it right here. As you see me doing, I'm going to grab my tiny attacher, give it a little staple, and then it's all done. So that's how you customize a 3x4 card to make it into a smaller frame for your different sized photos. I was using a 2x2 today. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you find this tip helpful, and have a great scrappy week.